Hey, it's Molly. Welcome back to my YouTube channel as we're going to discuss the significance of the degrees in every astrological sign. Now, the full astrological wheel begins at 0 degrees and consists of 360 degrees because that is, of course, a wheel, right? A full wheel is 360 degrees. And within that whole wheel of the zodiac, we have 12 astrological signs that each are composed of 30 degrees. And within those 30 degrees of each astrological sign, we have a progression of energy, and we also have consciousness in every astrological degree. This is why every degree point matters. Every degree point offers something. Now, perhaps you are familiar with the Sabian symbols, which are the archetypal energies, images, and visuals associated with every degree of the astrological wheel. If not, you may want to check those out. Those are pretty cool to read about and look into. But essentially, when you're talking about all of the degree points in astrology, each one has a consciousness and each one is a progression of energy. And so within the 30 degrees of every astrological sign, you also have a progression of energy starting at 0 degrees going to 29 degrees. Now that 0 degree point of every sign is a beginning point. It's potential, it's a new start. It's something that is beginning and being initiated. So the 0 degree point starts the energy, where there is perhaps something that's purely coming alive in you. It's purely coming awake. And then as the energy progresses, it develops, it takes form, it moves through. And we can also look at those 30 degrees broken down into decans, which are essentially groups of 10 degrees in each sign. So in Aries, 0 to 9 degrees is the first decan. 10 to 19 degrees, second decan. 20 to 29 degrees, the third decan. Then that leads us to Taurus, which begins at 0 degrees, and then you have the same breakdown of degrees in Taurus as well. So within those 30 degrees of every astrological sign, you have them broken down into 10 degrees, which is also a progression of energy. Now, the first decan of every astrological sign is bringing in the energy. It's opening it up. It's really getting familiar with what that energy is about. And that helps you understand perhaps what certain astrological signs are bringing you, what you're developing, what you're learning within the first 10 degrees. So the first 10 degrees of each astrological sign is basically like welcoming you into the house, bringing you into that environment, the themes, the archetypes, the energies of that sign. Then as you progress to 10 to 19 degrees of each astrological sign, that's like getting comfortable, understanding what it's about, really being clearer on what you're developing and learning, as well as implementing those energies. Then the energy progresses to 20 to 29 degrees. And this is where there can be a sense of really understanding what the energy is about. There's a maturity here. There's a sense of, okay, I understand how this works in me, what the energies are about, what's alive, and what I'm mastering. So that last 10 degrees of every sign can be about how you've been using the energy, how you've been applying it and mastering it, and what you've learned along the way. Because it makes sense how there's always this wisdom that accumulates as you move through every astrological sign and you learn more about what it is supporting you in developing and strengthening. So as we progress through the signs, you start to see the fullness of the zodiac come alive, where again, every degree point is unique, and then every decan within every astrological sign further emphasizes a theme or area of development. And that could be a good way to look at the decans, is that they're an area of development that you're learning and moving through. Now, when you have a planet or point at that final degree of any astrological sign, when you have it at 29 degrees, that is a graduation point. It's an ending. There could be energies here that you're really learning in this lifetime that are completing a cycle for you, completing a theme, really helping you get clear and master that energy. Because that 29 degree point of any astrological sign has accumulated a lot. It has been through enough that it understands really what's been developed through that astrological sign. So this could be something that makes sense for you when you look at your energy across multiple lifetimes. Where if you have something at, let's say, 29 degrees of Gemini, you've really understood more about mindfulness, responsible communication, what it means to express yourself. Because that is a completion to the Gemini energy. So there's been a completion, but there's also a responsibility. There's a sense of maybe wanting to get it right. You could be very hard on yourself even at that 29 degree point, because a part of you can feel or sense like, I really understand this at a deeper level of my being. I want to do this right. I want to be accurate. I want to make sure that this energy is expressing itself in the best and highest way. So that 29 degree point is that accumulation of energy, experience, and knowledge. And there's something there that also is meant to prepare you for the next astrological sign. So after 29 degrees of Gemini, we go into 0 degrees of Cancer. Cancer is a very different energy than Gemini. And that's a really fascinating part of the zodiac patterns, is that every astrological sign is actually very different from the one before it and the one after it. So then you step into a new area of energy, of soul growth, of personal development after that 29 degree point, and then you move to the 0 degrees of the next sign, which is a bit like changing houses, changing environments, where you're like, okay, everything's new and different here. Let me start learning about this environment or what is being developed here through these Cancer energies. So understanding that it's a progression of energy can help you see what you're learning and developing. Understanding how every degree point matters, and every degree point holds significance. So if you have a degree, let's say 15 degrees of Virgo. Okay, so Virgo is about what you are doing every day, how you feel productive, efficient, what you're contributing, maybe what you're organizing or managing, the desire to make it better, something to improve, wanting to do your best, needing to have something to focus on. At 15 degrees of Virgo, you could have a sense of you really need to be in that place where that energy comes alive, meaning it's very important for you to energetically express yourself through those Virgo qualities in a balanced way, with a sense of this is what I'm learning, this is what I'm developing, and knowing that part of the middle degree of every astrological sign can bring up a crossroads, can bring up something that you're deciding or selecting going forward, can show you more of how you're really using that energy and applying it. Does it work? Is it working? Is it satisfying? So think about how the middle point is something for you to look at where you've come from and then where you're going next. So this is where astrology is really fascinating, because there's like these little details or these little minutia qualities that we don't always look at. But again, there's consciousness and energy in every astrological sign and every astrological degree point. So you might even feel that a planet is speaking to you, energetically speaking to you, around its expression or themes. And this is, again, something that maybe you can just tune into in your own chart. You can check in with, let's say you have a planet or point at that 21 degrees of a sign. Maybe there's something there that you're like, yeah, I understand the qualities of this sign. Let's say 21 degrees of Aquarius. So you're like, okay, I understand what Aquarius is about. I've got it. I know it. I'm comfortable with it. Now, as that planet or point is in the third decan of Aquarius, which is between 20 and 29 degrees, there's something here where you're like, okay, well, how am I really using this? Is this working for me? How do I apply it? What is this showing me that helps me support my mastery of these energies? So I think this is a fun way to do more of a deep dive into your own chart, to be aware of your energetic expression, perhaps even more of what you're learning in this lifetime. I've seen many charts where people have almost every planet at like 25 to 29 degrees of an astrological sign. And so I see that as, okay, you've accumulated a lot here. There's a lot that your energy is already comfortable with, because 25 to 29 degrees is towards the end of that astrological sign. So there's things here in your energy that, again, you're very familiar with, you know about it, you're comfortable in it. So how are you using this? How are you using this mastery? And that's very personal. You know, that's something you have to check in with yourself about. Then I've seen many charts as well where a lot of the planets are in the early degrees of the astrological signs. It's between 0 and 9 degrees of an astrological sign in their chart, which would mean, okay, this is a lifetime where you're having some new experiences. You're getting used to what is happening here in the early degrees of a sign. There's things that you're opening up to, you're learning. You know, you want to see what your willingness is about learning the qualities of this sign, because when you have multiple planets between 0 and 9 degrees, those are usually newer energies, fresher energies. You're figuring it out as you go. You're learning more about what it means to be in that energy. So the degree points matter. The degree points have a consciousness. The degree points speak to you. And again, if you look at your chart, you could assess, okay, do I have a lot of planets in the same decan, even if they're in different astrological signs? I know this is a little bit more complicated or advanced for some of you, but that's because so many of you are advanced that I thought this would be another way to look at your chart, another layer to investigate. So what you could do very easily is essentially make a list and just put it into 3 different decans, right? 0 to 9, 10 to 19, 20 to 29. Go around your chart and look at, okay, how many planets do I have between 0 and 9 degrees? How many planets do I have between 10 and 19? How many planets between 20 and 29? And then you can tally it up and look at this energy and maybe understand some more about what you're learning in this lifetime, how you're growing, how you're applying it, and of course, the consciousness of your astrology chart as well. So I hope this has given you a new angle or a new way to look at your chart, to understand your energy, perhaps to gain clarity on why some things feel very familiar, very known, while other things seem very new and fresh and like you're just figuring it out as you go. So as always, thank you so much for joining me. I hope this has been beneficial, and I'll be back here for another YouTube video soon.